Welcome to MTB Cooking. Today we share with you a recipe that has been requested quite a lot. It's a zucchini boat recipe again, but these ones are vegetarian, so we only make them with vegetable filling. And you just saw some of the ingredients that we will use for this recipe. First of all, we do, as usually, we will we'll scoop out the flesh of the zucchinis. So just halve them, and then by using a tablespoon you can easily scoop out the flesh. And be careful here not to go all the way to the dark color of the skin, so you don't want to make any holes in your little boats. As you can see, the flesh looks like this, and we will actually keep it and use it for the filling for these zucchini boats. We do this with 3 zucchinis in total, so we have 6 halves. We can now chop up the zucchini flesh, and we do that just quite thoroughly actually. We don't want too many large pieces of this meat. Instead, we want to have it kind of mince-like. We can put it into a sieve, and then we're actually going to salt the flesh. The salt will help to extract some of the water of the flesh, which will make the cooking of it later go quicker. We will also salt the zucchini boats, so the skins, also to remove some of the excess water that is in these boats, because zucchinis, they do contain a lot of water. We will now fry up some onions in some neutral tasting oil. We want to do this until the onions are translucent. You could easily use yellow onions, it doesn't have to be red onions, that was just what we had on hand. And then after the onions are nicely translucent, we can add mushrooms that are chopped up. And there is a lot of water that needs to evaporate from these mushrooms, so that's gonna take a bit of time, so be patient. But in the meantime, you could go and remove the water from your zucchinis, both by pouring it out, but also by tapping with some tissue paper. As you can see, the pan is more dry now, so we have actually let the water evaporate from the mushrooms, and we can actually add the sieved zucchini flesh to the pan now. There's still going to be some water in it, even though it had already thrown off quite a lot. But we'll also add a red bell pepper and leave all of this to cook for some time in the pan again, just to let the water evaporate, because we don't want this filling for our zucchini boat to be too liquidy. Once that is done, we can add crushed garlic to the pan. We're going to add it directly onto the pan surface so that it can heat up and get a lot of good tastes out of the garlic. We add cumin powder as well. We do the same here, add it directly to the pan to make the flavors go crazy. We're adding dried oregano and dried basil. Now we will add in something that's gonna give the whole filling more texture and a lot of consistency. So that is actually cooked rice, and we use a basmati rice. It could easily be a different kind of rice that you prefer. And these were just cooked in the morning. We made this in the early afternoon. So as long as they're just cooked to your liking, not too soft, that's all good. Salt and pepper the filling. Taste it just to make sure that you like the seasoning amounts, and then add all of the filling to 2 bowls so that we can let it cool down quickly. We will now make a tomato sauce. We have some peeled tomatoes with the juice therein. We add balsamic vinegar, sugar, salt, pepper, dried oregano, and crushed garlic. All of this we can just very easily mix together. We will sort of try to mash up the peeled tomatoes so that we get a bit more of a homogeneous sauce. It doesn't matter if there are a bit of lumps, but still try to make it more into a sauce than into big tomato chunks in juice. The filling has now cooled down a bit, so we can add eggs to it. And we wanted it to cool down because if the filling had been too hot, then the eggs would almost become scrambled eggs once they hit the filling. That's not the idea. We want to be able to spread the fluffiness of the eggs to the entire mixture. Then we added grated parmesan cheese and grated cheddar cheese. This is also going to help the filling stick together, because the cheese will slowly begin to melt, and if not when touching the filling, then it will melt in the oven. So in a baking dish that is quite large, because it's going to be able to hold our zucchinis, we'll spread out the tomato sauce. We'll add the zucchini skins that have been completely dried off for any excess water. And then we are going to add the filling to the boats. And be generous. It would be nice if around 1 or 1.5 boats would be able to fill up a person. If not, then we'd say 2 halves per person. Then you can sprinkle on some more Parmesan cheese and some more cheddar cheese. This is always amazing to be able to brown off that cheese. And then we cooked it in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes at 390 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 200 degrees C. Afterwards, we just let them set for 15 minutes or so, and then we could serve them up with the tomato sauce and fresh basil on top. We're here going to cut a nice piece of this delicious zucchini boat. The filling, even though it doesn't contain actual meat, is actually very meaty in the consistency. And as we let them sit and just cool off a little bit before eating them, the filling had actually gotten a chance to set even better. And we can only recommend you to try this if you're a vegetarian or not. This is very, very satisfying and a very good twist on the more classic version with meat in it. Thanks a lot for watching MTB Cooking. Please subscribe to our channel, give the video a like, and we'll see you next time. Bye.